We are ready to go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening.
Hello.
Everyone. I just want to tell you guys that we are so excited to be here today. And I just want to tell you guys to go ahead and just sit up. Woo! We are on everywhere tonight. My God. We are on Blog Talk Radio. We are on Facebook Live. We are on YouTube. We're gonna be on we're also gonna be on Clubhouse, and I'm getting ready to start it right now, but I just want to welcome everybody who's joining us right now. I want you to be prepared, be ready for this amazing show. I see y'all coming in. I want you to send the hearts and start to tag somebody to come in. And I want you, if you're able to go on Clubhouse too, and go on everywhere and get us to that moment where we just want to say, look, we are ready to come and give you the best answers that everybody's been waiting for. We've been waiting for this for a very long time, and we're excited because A Better Me podcast is just a place where we come, where we discuss relationship topics. We talk about ministry, women in ministry, sisterhood. We talk about domestic violence. We talk about health. We talk about dating. We talk about marriage, divorce, everything that we talk about, and much more. And so tonight is a very special night. I have my co-host, Thursday Torshin. Come on, go ahead and join in and Thursday, join us in and introduce yourself. Come on.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Look at everybody in the building from all over. Okay, looking good. So I am Apostle's assistant. I take care of some of the administrative stuff behind the scenes, and we also go out and do field work in terms of things that we do locally and mission trips that we do abroad. So I'm happy to be here. This is a juicy topic. About to get into it.
Yes, we are.
Me. I appreciate everybody who is watching, participating. For those of you who are on Facebook, if you send us some stars, the stars help us generate some funds to help us towards our mission trip. So anything that you all send would be greatly appreciated. So thank you for that. So I'm going to turn it over to Frank, the man of the hour, who's going to catch all the heat, all the smoke for tonight.
No, man, I don't know why y'all got me here. What's up, everybody? Frank Gateau, out there, media producer. Shout out to everybody tuning in tonight. We gotta get to it. I got my special Teflon armor on, to bounce the shots off. But yeah, let's get it. Important topic. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a great show.
That's right. So I'm so excited about this, and I want to shout out everybody who's on Clubhouse, on everybody who's on YouTube, everybody who is on Facebook, and we're also going to call in some people from Instagram. And I'm excited about this tonight because this is a very important topic. It is a topic that we wonder about all the time. And so I experienced that issue before. I don't know how many of you experienced it. If you have, I want you to go ahead and put it in the chat, and make sure you remember to send the hearts, send the stars. And we are just getting prepared to hear this. And I feel so bad for Frank because he's by himself tonight. But
they bailed on me, man. They did it on purpose. They set me up.
We're gonna be easy. We're gonna be easy, and we're gonna listen in, and we're gonna believe that everything that he has to tell us is going to be something great, because it's going to help us to really understand men, to understand what's going on, to understand what we're doing wrong. And listen, guys, we are also going to cover why do women cheat. Don't think y'all getting away with this, because it's going to happen. Y'all going to tell us why, right? And so I want to just thank everybody. I'm going to go to Thursday. And Thursday, if you could give us like something that have you ever experienced this before? Have you ever experienced a situation?
I've experienced it. Of course I experienced it. I can't. Well, can I tell you why? They say there's a lot of excuses, right? There's a lot of. Let me not say excuses. There's some reasons. So probably one of the main reason is maybe like a lack of attention. Sometimes men feel that they don't have enough sex in the relationship, right? So an issue. That's an issue. But I think sometimes, maybe generally speaking, people just kind of like may go into some things not realizing how committed they really need to be. And they're in it deep, and then they realize, well, maybe this is not what I wanted, and then they just want to break up the monotony, or just they're not as committed as they think they are. I'm not certain. I can't tell you. Listen, I'm a spectator over here. I'm trying to learn. I'm taking notes.
Well, have you ever experienced like someone cheating on you?
Yeah, I have. Okay. It's painful because you're not understanding why, because you're thinking, okay, I'm doing this right. You're not perfect, but you're like, well, I didn't know that it was this bad, this situation. Why didn't you come to me to say that you had a problem, instead of just going out and stepping out? But I was thinking about this throughout the day, and I think my younger self, like in the 20s, I'm not, now that I'm older, I'm not as angry about it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're young, you may not have your mindset may be different. Your priorities may be different. So I'm more my interest is more around, the men who are older, who are experienced, who are supposed to be vested in their relationships. Those of us who are married. So that's what I'm thinking about now. When I think about the younger years, it hurt at the time, but that's you being a child, immature, lacking understanding and things of that nature. So I'm more concerned about, a more grounded, supposedly grounded relationship.
Okay. I totally understand that, because the thing about it is that I've experienced the same thing. I've experienced that cheating. It feels really bad. It doesn't feel good, right? And so I don't know, Frank. Can you give us like some pointers onto why is it that some men cheat? Like, have you experienced a situation of that on your own?
No, definitely. I mean, like, so first off, disclaimer, right?
Yes.
Haitian men don't cheat. Haitian men, black men don't cheat, right? That's how I'm gonna start that off, right? So, with that being said, I think kind of like what Therese said, it's a lot of times women put the blame on themselves, and it has nothing to do with them, you know, and they get caught up as like what I did wrong, what I could have did different. Like men go through stages, right? So it's depend like one of the things we discussed in the book as well, in one of the chapters is like you're almost grooming the guy for the next relationship until he reaches that level where he's ready to commit. So it's like, and you have to hope like when he reaches you, he's ready. He might not be ready. You know, a lot of times it's the guy that's like, you know, he needs to find himself. Like it's him who just needs to go through his trial and error. You know, it's like this could have been the first stage in his life that he's finding himself attractive to the opposite sex, or you know, whichever way he's going, right? So now he's getting all this attention he's not used to. It's brand new. A lot of people can't handle that. You know, just like when somebody gets into money, you could have early on been in a relationship. You guys come up, right? So like they always say, what a guy's test is when he has everything, and then the woman's test is when he has nothing, right? So it's like, you know, it's a process, but a lot of times the woman tends to blame themselves, and it really has nothing to do with the woman. You know, like I honestly think that where we discussed previously with the love languages, like knowing your partner's love language is really important, because you'll miss on the cues that he's like inadvertently telling you without telling you, because you guys don't speak the same love language. So now when he's stepping out and he's telling you like, well, you know, you don't help me enough. But then you're always there for him, giving him quality time, you know, and gifts. He don't care about that. You know what I mean? So now he goes, meets a woman that's feeding that need. And all of a sudden he's like, okay, this feels different. But at the same time, like the love for you don't diminish, but it's like a process he needs to go through. You know what I mean?
Right. Wow. So, wow. Did you have something to say, Thursday?
No, I've heard that, you know, a man may step out, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't love his woman, you know, the person that he's with. And, you know, they sometimes they're really sorry. Sometimes they say they're sorry and they're not, and they go back to the behavior. But I've heard that often, that, you know, they can love whomever they're with and they still stepping out. So, you know, it's a little, that's a hard pill to swallow, because if it were in the other foot, men don't take that very well, you know. So it's like, okay, but he loves me, but he's still, it's like just considered bad behavior.
Right.
And I don't know if that's not, it's not that it's not okay. You know,
like when they use that love card, right? You also got to see, are they changing, right? Are they taking the steps forward to show you that, you know, that they're really committed? So now if you're in a situation where he's just like a serial cheater, at that point you need to realize when it's time to cut it. You know, at this point you're just doing the damage to yourself. You got nobody to blame but yourself. If you keep yourself in a situation that you know is not healthy, he's not going to change. He can tell you he loves you all you want. You know what I mean? Tell you what you want to hear. But if the action doesn't coincide with the words, it's like you need to know when to step away. If you allow a guy to cheat, he's going to cheat all he wants. You know, so you got to know when to.
But does that mean he doesn't love you?
Wait.
Does that? Go ahead.
Wait. Wait. So it's possible for someone to love you. I'm trying to figure this out. It's possible for someone to love you and still cheat. Is that possible, Frank? That they love you and they still cheat? Or what is, if they, in my mind, I'm believing, okay, if someone loves me, they love me and only me and not want someone else, because that's what we look for as women. So my question is, can a man still cheat and still say that they love you?
That is possible, right? You kind of see it and you hear it all the time. Like you'll see a situation where, a woman finds out her guy, or the guy found out the guy was cheating, but they still take him back because it's something deeper there, right? So again, it's the willingness for them to admit it first, right? Because and honestly, like when you really love someone, I mean, this might sound crazy, but you can kind of cheat by accident, right? Like you can cheat by accident, right? And then it's like it hurts us almost as much as it hurts your partner, right? Because the whole thing is you're not doing, like, you never cheat with the intentions of getting caught, right? So it's like you got to look within yourself to change. Again, the maturity factor, like what do you value at the end of the day? Because you could love somebody and not value them, right? That's why, like, for my hierarchy, I say respect almost trumps love. Because if someone respects, and because you can be loyal to somebody and not love them. How many people work jobs for 15, 20 years that they hate, but they go every day?
Wow.
They're going into that company, but they hate it.
Right.
It's the same thing. You could love someone and not be loyal. So you have to see, like, where's the hierarchy? Like, I put loyalty, respect, love. When you put love first, anything can still happen. If someone's loyal to you, they'll never turn your back on you. They'll always be there for you no matter what. So it's like, you have to see where it is that the value comes into play.
Wow. Well,
I have a question for you. Have you ever intervened, or maybe saw one of your brothers cheating and then just be like, yo, dude, what are you doing? Like, what's that conversation like? Have you ever had to do that? And what happens? Do they tell you to mind your business? Are you able to change their mind about their behavior?
Like when you're boys, right? Like when they're serious about someone, it's kind of like you don't really got to discuss it. Like they know, at least when they're around us, right? So like a large group of my friends, we're all married. We all know each other. We all know what we do. We keep each other accountable. Right. But at the same time, I have friends that I know the girl he with is for that season. So if he's doing something, I'm not going to intervene because I know that's not long term. Like you kind of know your circle and what their intentions are. Right. He might be at a stage where he's still finding himself. Maybe he got over something. He needs to get this out of the system. It's better to get out your system while you're messing around than to get into something serious and hurting each other, or even worse. So you know your person and who they, how your people are. So if it's something that's not serious, it's like, yo, do you have fun? I ain't got to mention it. But if it's someone we know is serious, it's like, you might see something happening, but it's like, it's, they know, like, all right, if I'm bugging or not, we'll have discussions, we'll group together and be like, our Sunday brunch talk is different than women, right? Like we'll get together at the round table and discuss, like, just life in general. And if we see somebody going through something, we're like, yo, what's going on? Everything good at home? All right, cool.
Okay.
And that conversation says enough. Nothing else has to be said. That's the line.
Wow. That's interesting.
You'll check him. In other words, if you think you know.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. If you're going to tell this dude, look.
You got to keep your circle strong, right? Because at the end of the day, the women in the circle know too. It's like if you're one way, they're gonna, everyone kind of like is the same, right? When you have a circle, a lot of us would be similar. So they know if like you messing around, the other person might be too. So they wouldn't even allow that. Like the wives play an important factor in it too. You know what I mean? But yeah, like we all get checked. We check each other all the time.
Wow. So that is good that you intervene, because sometimes people don't. And what ends up happening is that they, if you find someone that's a cheater, like I always say this, if you are a friend of someone who cheats, then guess what? You begin to do the same thing. I remember a cousin of mine where he was a cheater, And if anybody's man hung around this guy, they're gonna cheat. Anybody man hang around this guy, they're going to cheat. And so I'm like, I always tell people, don't let your man hang with this guy, because if you let your man hang with him, what's going to happen is
that worked both ways too. That worked both ways too. We know the whole girl that's always out there. That's like, nah, you ain't. Who you going out with?
That is true. That is true. That is true.
It happens a lot.
Oh my God. And it's so important that, that you intervene. And I like the fact that you said you intervene. I want everybody to do me a favor. I don't want to forget, y'all. I want to shout out Coach Sharice, LaShonda, Mama Linda. Thank you for sending the hearts and sending the stars. I want you guys put your questions in the comment as well. Share it. I want you to ask some people to come in so that they can hear. Let them come in, invite them to come in and ask questions and be able to listen in, because this is very important that we're able to, share the information so that people can come in, so that people can actually get a certain, some kind of clarification. Maybe it was them, or maybe it was the man, right? And it's not always the man. And sometimes it's us, sometimes it's the man. But let me bring that question out. Who should we blame when a man cheats, right? Who should we blame? Is it the man? Because I believe you said it's his issue, right? It's really not the woman. And so we take men back constantly. We take them back if they cheat 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. But when a woman cheat, a man is like, I'm done, I'm finished, right? And so what is the difference in us saying, okay, I forgive you, I'll take you back and let's try again? What is the difference between the man and the woman cheating? Like, is there a difference?
So there's 2 factors, right, that play into that. One is men are way more fragile, right? Like men, we can't handle just the thought of another man doing anything, right?
So, call it entertaining.
Exactly. So to go off of that, like, what? It's back to the hunter and the conqueror, right? Women have to be conquered. Men hunt. So it's like if a man is able to conquer and persuade your woman to do that, there's no coming back from that. I mean, anybody can, and it's like, once home is penetrated, you let someone else come in. Now this person affects everything in the house, right? Versus like, a guy could step out and the woman will have no impact to his day-to-day, right? Won't have no impact to his home. Like, everything stays the same. The dynamics between them doesn't change, right? Until he gets caught. But before that, it's the same. Like, you can almost tell, like, when someone's infiltrating your woman's head, like that whole, like, work husband, right? And then the good guy step in, all of a sudden everyone's straightening up, everyone's talking nervous and stuff. Like, it's true. Like, it's usually someone they have some type of relationship with, someone they work with, a close friend. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. You got those that will go out and meet a stranger and get it on the same night. But a lot of times there's some type of relationship built there. So when it happens, it's deeper than just physical. It's mental. So so the combination of the physical and mental, it's almost impossible for a guy to overlook that and let that come in. You know what I mean? Not a lot of time, guys, we're more of the physical aspect, like, and don't get me wrong, because this is 2023, women are just as cutthroat and heartless and not emotional as men are. It's a different, like, I'm so happy about this game. This Savage era is completely cutthroat, right? Like, women nowadays, they know they value, they know what they want, right? So they could go out and get it, no feelings attached, nothing, keep it moving next day, right? So it's a whole different dynamics this day. So again, it falls down to your circle, what are you looking for, your age range, you know, your experiences in life, you know, it's like all of that combines together and affects that overall decision. The same has to take back or whether to move on.
Wow. Well, I've experienced this, you know, a few times. And, you know, the first time it was very, very drastic. It was really bad. It was something where I was so disappointed. And I had the woman calling me. And as the woman was calling me, telling me things, it took me to a different, you know, level where I began to feel cold. I didn't want him to come near me. I couldn't stand him, right? And I know sometimes, you know, it's better to, I guess, talk about it or whatever, but it was a very bad thing where he was bringing the woman to my house. We were working different shifts. I was working in the evening. He was working in the day. So when he's at work, I'm home, and when I'm at work, he's home. So I found a lipstick in his closet, and then I found a gym ID, and she had a funny name, and her name was like, she could either be a man or she could be a woman. And so he said, "Oh, that's my brother's some girl my brother's messing around with. That's her ID, her gym's ID. She forgot it in the car." And I was like, And then I went in the car and I found lipstick in the car. So every time he would always use his brother as an excuse. Now, I know the brother was doing the same thing. So they were both doing the same thing, and they both had wives. And until one day, I remember where this woman came to my house. And when my daughter came to the door, she said she knew my daughter's name. And she was like, "Hi," like as if she comes around. Like, I come to this house on a regular, right? Yeah. And so it was really interesting that she was that bold. And it's not her fault. It's his fault because he allows it, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So at the end of the day, I know we can use excuses. Okay, he's young, we were young and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you still did something that can hurt somebody and cause a lot of pain. And so I don't understand how the mind operates in some men, because what made him think that he can get along, he could get away with this for so long? And what would make a man take that chance to say, I'm going to let this woman in my house? And one day, by the grace of God, one day, I was determined to catch him. One day, I was determined to get home, and I wanted to find out what it was that he was doing, and I was going to catch him. So I got home, and when I got home, I didn't get home yet. No, let me rewind. I was at work, and I was like, I'm going to leave early. So I usually get home like about 12:30 a.m. and I got home at 8:30 p.m. And I just knew that I was going to find this woman in my house. And I was like, I'm going in there, I'm going to kill both of them, and I'm going to get out. That was my plans. When I got there, he was in the tub. There was no woman there. So by the grace of God, I was able to not do this thing. I probably would have been in jail till today. I'd have been in jail till today. And so, well, I probably would have gotten out by now.
Like, how long was that? right? Only 10 to 15, probably.
Hey, 10 or 15. You know, I'm only 20, y'all.
Self-defense. Maybe get off good early for good behavior. Who knows,
Yeah.
man?
So I just want to like say to women, like, it's not that serious for you to even think like that, because a lot of times we start to think about a certain thing, and then as we begin to put that negative in our mind, and all of a sudden, because of that one person, I would have destroyed my entire life, right? And so it's important that we really understand that you're more important and you're more valuable. If this is something that this person wants to do, I don't think that you should put yourself as the blame, right? And so I think a lot of times we blame ourselves because they tell us you're not educated. They'll say you don't have what I'm looking for, or you don't take care of yourself like you used to, right? Because sometimes women have babies, and when they have babies, they look different, right? They might gain more weight, and so at that moment, the man would probably say, well, she's unattractive, or this is not the woman that I knew, right? And so at that point, what is it that a woman do at that moment when they're going through maybe postpartum, or maybe they're going through the pregnancy, right? What is it that you suggest for women to do in order for their husbands to, or man, baby daddy, whatever you got, to really be that individual that would, you know, what advice do you have for that?
I mean, before you answer that, Frank, I have to ask Apostle, like, why is the onus on us?
No, I'm just asking because I hear this a lot of times.
No, I'm with you, Teresa. But
Yeah,
so
relationship,
it's,
you know, this. Okay, you know, you have your woman, your wife. She's taking care of home. She's taking care of children. That in itself should be attractive, because I know, you know, man cooking, taking care of house. He's, you know, working, doing homework with the kids. You know, taking the kids on outing. To me, that's an that creates an attraction and within me that I don't see anybody else. So, you know, when you pose that question, I'm like, well, I'm going through it. If I have postpartum, I just pushed out a whole human. Like, where's the sympathy for me?
No, you're absolutely right. So it comes down to, right, the communication, right, and also like how if the guy is that shallow, then, you know, that's a flag in itself. But now you guys already have kids, so it's almost like you're stuck, right? So that's something you kind of got to vet before you even get to that point. Like, if he's that shallow, knowing that you just gave birth to his offspring, and he's concerned about, you know, fluctuation of weight, like, that's a natural occurrence, right?
Yeah.
So now, there's also ways to approach it or bring it up, right? Again, with the communication, the open communication, how you bring it up. You know, you could say, hey, you know, I want to make sure we maintain our health, right? Let's work out together, right? So it's not just, you know, your physical appearance, it's your inner health, your mental health, and everything around. Like, he can't be on the couch, you know what I mean, drinking tequila all day, you know what I mean, taking some rock shots and you're working out, right? It doesn't work that way, right? So it's like, it's in the delivery. So he shouldn't expect it, but if you're going through it, he needs to sympathize and say, hey, how can I help? Hey, I noticed that, you know, maybe you're reverting to just overly eating because there's something else wrong. We're putting on weight. It's not just you. We're together, right?
Oh, I like that.
I gain. Like, me and my wife, we work out together. Like, if I don't feel good, I'm like, hey, I use her as motivation, and vice versa. Like, we motivate each other to, you know, stay in shape. And it's not just the physical aspect. It's just like, again, the communication, doing something together. This is our problem, not your problem. right? Again, like you mentioned, it's like you're taking care of home. You just pushed out a kid. Like you got to see the attractiveness in that in itself, like what women do. You know, so if you're shallow, you're just looking at the physical. That's upbringing. You can't change that from a guy. If that's his mentality, that's going to be him. He's just going to keep hopping and doing next to that. You know, those weird dudes that end up with like 4, 5, 6 baby mothers. Do you really want that in your life?
Yeah.
No.
And I agree with Thursday, because why is it that we're always the one who we have to always be concerned about? Why can't we just take our time and get back to normal? Why is it that we can't just take our time and just be who we are? And it's something, especially if you just had a baby for the first time and you're not used to this, right? It takes some time for you to start to look good again. It takes some time, because especially if you're not going to the club. Like if you're going to the club, some girls snap back right away. They're like, oh, I got to go, I'm ready to go. Right. But if you are in a relationship and you're married and all of a sudden this happens, it's teamwork. But why is it that some men, they don't understand that? Like, I know you said it's communication, but when is it that they would really look at the woman? Like I see a man I see a man on Instagram. His wife had a brain aneurysm, and he takes care of his wife. Even though she's sick, she wasn't able to speak. She was in a coma for a long time. And I see this man, he puts the wife in the back seat and they go out every day. And he's fighting this together, right? But in some relationships, like I know a lot of men in my family who do the same thing. And I won't say no name, but they do. They got a wife here, a girlfriend here, girlfriend in another state, and girlfriend in another country, or a girlfriend down the block, right? So when is it that the man really get it? Like, I'm in a relationship. When do they know?
When they've lost everything. When she had enough.
Right.
When do they know?
I mean, it's again, it's like that mature factor, like kind of like what I mentioned. It's like you're almost grooming the guy for the next relationship until he finally reaches his level. Some might not, right? You got guys, they could do this for a lifetime. Like that's their MO. That's what they're looking for, right? So it's like you gotta. I think we gotta be more responsible and just vetting the people that we get involved with. All right.
I like that.
People change and switch up on you all the time, and what it is we're afraid to start over, right? Because we have so much time and equity spent and put into somebody, and it's like we rather suffer and deal with the pain versus then fighting something new just to have to repeat the cycle, right? But it's like either way you're suffering. You have a better probability of moving on because now you're wiser. You should be able to spot these things quicker, right? In the next relationship. If not, then maybe you need to take time by yourself and just reflect and see, like, all right, what is it I'm doing wrong, right? Because as much fault the guy is, it's sometimes you have to be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be with somebody right now, because especially if it's a habit. You have some people that they go through the same. I'm pretty sure you guys have homegirls or people that talk to you.
Oh yeah,
it's the same relationship over and over and over again, and it's like, why are you always in this situation, right? Like, when are you going to say that it's not them, it's me, right? So even if he's to blame, he can't do you wrong unless you allow him, let him enter that space to do that to you. Right. And again, people make mistakes. I'm not saying like we can't forgive, but you need to know when it is like, all right, enough is enough, because someone's only going to do as much as you allow them to do.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like a guy could be 90 and be immature, So it's like it's it's hard to gauge. Like, you can't say it's an age thing. It's more of an upbringing, you know, like, did he grow up in two-house family? Was he raised by his mother? Was he raised by his father? Who are his influences, right? Who is in his circle, right? Who does he have a mentor? Who's his guidance? Who does he look up to? Does he have faith? Does he believe in God? Right? Like you mentioned the gentleman that's taking care of his wife with aneurysm. He made an oath to God, right?
That's right.
He said, till death do us part.
Yeah.
He made an oath to God. So he's honoring God and by honoring his wife. So that's why he's like, you know, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm in this until one of us are gone. Like, this is what I signed up for. This is what I understood, right? His maturity level's there.
Right.
So it's like, you know, you just got to see how, you know, just the vetting process. You just got to, you know, constantly vet. And it's ongoing. It don't stop once you get married. You know, it's a never-ending interview. You're constantly interviewing each other, constantly growing, constantly get to know each other. You know, you can't just stop. The same way, like they say, you should continue dating your wife, right? You still go on dates, you still take her out, you still court her. The courting doesn't stop. That's all part of the process. So even after marriage, like if you don't see these things, you know, it should all be little small warning signs that'll lead to a bigger picture. So, you know, it's not one fit all. That's the thing about like this topic. It's like there's never one answer that you can fit into every category or box, right? One answer will work for one person. It might work for 1,000. And one answer will work for nobody, right? Like this. You want to know another reason why men cheat? For no reason. How about that? That's a reason. No reason at all. It was there, I did it. Right? Yeah. So now that's his logic, right? What do you do at that point? I had no reason. It happened.
And do you think that do you believe that some people are influenced and you know, with the cheating, or is it something that, because there are men that don't cheat. There are men, like, it exists. And I used to go out with a guy once, and he wasn't a cheater. He was a homebody. He didn't believe in cheating. But when he started to hang around the cheaters, he wanted to try it.
Yeah.
So at that moment, it's like, was this influenced, or is this something that he's done before? Or is it something that looked fun? Or is it a learned behavior? Because we really have to try to figure this out, right? Is it a learned behavior? Because I always thought that Haitian men, it's a learned behavior. My father got a kid too. My father, you know, and they do that kind of stuff.
Genetics, right?
Yeah. So it's like fun to them. And so it's a learned behavior. It's something like the father never said it was wrong. And so we look at sometimes men that have two kids born at the same time, 2 weeks apart, a week apart. And we try to figure out, like, is this fun? Is this like, did it happen by accident? But when it really happens, they're bragging about it like, I'm a hero. I did this, right? And so, like, what would you say about that? Like, is it immaturity, or like, what would you say about that?
It's like if he's able to support it, that's how guys look at it. It's like, if I can support, like, I always see that. I always wonder, it's like, how do certain people, how can you have 4 or 5 kids and deal with all that stress? Like, I couldn't do it. You know, like, it's too much.
How do you deal with all those women?
Obviously, they're not doing it right if they're getting caught. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the women too, right? Dealing with women, then when you throw kids in the mix, it's a whole different dynamics, right? So it's like it's to that whole conquer thing, right? So, like, to conquer women back in, even in certain societies now, how it's okay for it to have more than one wife, right? As long as they can support the families, it's perfectly fine. So you have people who practice that, and then you have the ones that don't. So it's like, how are you supporting it And then you have people who brag because it's, to them, it is a trophy. It's like, it's showing
Yeah.
that I have these women, I have this, it's a sense of power and pride at the end of the day for men. And some men take pride and joy in just having multiple, women, baby mothers, drama. Some people function, some people like to function in that circle, and that's where they're comfortable, like they're comfortable in that space. So for them, they see nothing wrong with it.
It's interesting that you should say that, because I'm thinking about a couple that I know. They've known each other for a while, like 15, 20 years. They've been married like 5 years. And the woman, her father had like 20 some odd kids, right? So and I watched the interaction between her and her husband, and she's always upset. She's always getting at him for having these women, or always suspecting that he's with another woman and things like that. But when she talks, it's as though the behavior is normal. It's I didn't understand it at first until I found out, like, her father had passed away, and she talked about how, like, all her siblings had come from all over and so forth. And I was like, oh, that's why she kind of like tolerates it, because she knows that in her mind that this is the behavior of men. And it made me sad. It really, it made me sad. Like, I felt bad, like, it's in her mind, it's acceptable. She doesn't like it. It makes her unhappy. She obviously she doesn't want her husband out there with other people, but there's a part of her that in this relationship, she knows this is something that she has to deal with, because her mom had to deal with it. That's just how men are. And I would say to her, not all men cheat. Like, well, no, yeah, all men cheat. That's how they are, no matter what you do, blah, blah, blah. And I just was like, it made me very sad. I didn't like to hear that.
Yeah. Well, she said all men cheat. Is that what she said?
Yeah, she said that, like, that's their nature. Know, and you just have to, even though it's the women has to be responsible to know that, okay, if this man is married, you don't talk to him, but
right,
the man is still gonna go out there. That's his nature, to go out there, and you have to deal with it. Don't let him go out there. What do you mean? You're gonna be behind this man 24/7? Everywhere he goes, you're gonna go behind him? What about your life? You have to go to work? Don't you have to rest? Don't you have other things to do rather than spy on this man 24/7?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, have you? So this is the thing. I mean, it all starts with a decision, right? Because we can't think everybody cheats, and we can't think, because somebody might like to, I don't know. I don't know if I'm correct, but someone may not be content with who they have, right? Because I see men sometimes, they get married in 1 month, 2 months, and they've been with someone for like 10 years or 20 years or 15 years, and they never proposed to that woman. So what would you say? What would you say is the reason that they spent so much time with that person, and they knew that they were never going to want to marry this person or even want this person to be their wife? Why would a man stay in a relationship so long, and just to tell the person after all these years, and they find someone new and they propose to that person after a month or two? What would you say about that, Frank?
Again, it's that grooming for the next. And then, men have placeholders just like women do. It's like, you'll have, literally, that's what it is. You're a placeholder until I find something that's better than what I have, right? Having something is better than having nothing, right? Like having 100% of zero, or you rather have 50% of of something. So it's like,
interesting.
Because you see it all the time. Like you mentioned, it's like they'll be in a relationship for X amount of years and then get with someone, and then within a year they're engaged and married, right? Because again, it is also this person filling in some type of void that was in their relationship. But again, they rather have this as a placeholder versus then, starting over and be by myself. If I have somebody who's doing everything I need, right, but there's just something that's not completely there, right, I'll continue to have this person along. And it happens to men too. That's when I say it's like you have to constantly be vetting the person you're with, right? Because at what point did they have a conversation and be like, all right, what are we doing? Right?
Wow.
Because you chose to stay there for that 5, 6, 10 years, right? With the same thing. You could have asked if he keep telling you next year, right? At what year do you stop it?
Yeah.
So you're almost just as guilty for allowing it to happen to you, So it's like, you got to know your own self-worth. It's like, you're not going to string me along, right, until you're ready, because that's exactly what it is. So you got to cut it before, because you know what the outcome is going to be. You know what it's going to be, right? So you're just fooling yourself thinking it's going to be something different.
Yeah, that is true.
Rose, she sent me a note. She said some of these women, they get back at the men by cheating on the men and having babies by other men. Oh my God.
Who's that supposed to hurt? The guy or the woman?
It hurts everybody. And that's, unfortunately, it hurts everyone. It hurts the child.
Definitely.
It hurts everyone.
Oh my God.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The whole world.
Yeah. So my question is, so do you think it's the woman who, well, I know you mentioned vetting, and vetting is very important, because I think what happened is back in the days where we grew up, what ended up happening is that we were taught, like, okay, you go to college and then you get married, right? So in your mind, you believe that this is the thing to do. So I think people didn't have time to vet, because they were so accustomed to, I go to college, I get married, I have kids, right? And so at some point, I believe that people should they should teach their children. People should teach their children about vetting, because where are they going to learn this from? They're not going to learn it from their friends. So I think it's something that should be taught. Sometimes there's no father in the house. So as a woman, we don't know exactly what to expect, what to do, how to do, right? And sometimes the father is in the house and the woman they want to get married, right? And if you find a man that just says, yes, let's do it, but then don't realize what a relationship is, because a lot of times people, they rushed into relationship, rushed into marriage, but didn't really know what they were getting into, right? And so I think sometimes, even now, people live with each other. People are married with other people and they're unhappy. And sometimes they're like, oh, I'm only there because of my kids. I'm only there until the kids grow up and I'm out, right? Now, at that moment,
people leaving relationships like that. Yeah.
So at that moment, it's not, you're hurting the other person, because you had a plan, and your plan was like, I can't stand this woman, I can't stand this man, and I'm gonna leave. Sooner or later, I'm out. As soon as they go away or whatever, they move out, I'm out. And I don't know, like, do you think that these women saw this coming, or they just got used to the relationship and they got laid back and relaxed and just thought that this person was going to be there forever? Like, what do you think? Like, what do you think about that?
People get comfortable in their settings and situations, right? So, and it becomes normal day-to-day habit. So you on the inside, you don't see anything wrong, and you're just continuing about, what's normal to you. Like Therese mentioned with the dynamics of her friends' parents, right? As far as, like she said, she saw, multiple women in and out. Father had a whole bunch of kids. That's normal. That's them. That's the habit, right? So again, it goes back to, you know, how are you raised, right? If there's not, you know, both parents there, if you don't have the father involved, you don't have the mother involved. I know Jaquel, who's one of the authors, who should have been here. He always, you know, he's been raising his daughter since she was little by himself, right?
Wow.
And one of the things when she got older, he always made it a point to take her on dates. So he would date his daughter, like to show her this is how a guy should treat you, right? This is what he should do for you. This is how you should, you know, reciprocate certain things. So now when she goes out there, right, she knows what to look for. So if someone's doing something that, you know, her father wouldn't do, if you know, he's grooming her to be a good woman and know how to accept love properly. The same thing with mothers. Date your sons, right? Like show them, like, hey, how a woman should react to you being kind, you being polite, you know, be courteous, you know, open doors, or, you know, just know what she likes and what to expect for a woman. So it goes, you know, dating your child so they can see the signs when they grow up, you know, kind of help with the whole, you know, being raised in a single house and then not seeing it, right? Because we see what's around us, right? So so you can only see how far is your day-to-day travels in circles. So that's another reason, like today's day and age of social media has opened the door to all types of possibilities. Before, you would hear the grass is greener on the other side. Right. Now you see it. You don't gotta think. You could go on Instagram, Facebook.
But the grass may not even be real. That's
yeah, but guess what? So I need to feel it to find out if it's real or not. Right?
Yeah.
On screen, it looks real. You know what? I need to investigate this a little further. Let me see how real or not real it is. But either way, it's there. The visualization is there, right? We can see beyond our normal parameters with social media. That opened up a whole nother Pandora's box these days, which makes it so much, like, we have so much ways of connecting, but it's caused us to disconnect even more. Yeah, so it's like you have to deal with that now as a factor growing up as well.
Wow. Well, I think you know, this is good information, because, you know, sometimes it's like I know I have a cousin who will never get married. He said he will never get married, and I'm always trying to figure out, like, is it that he doesn't find the right woman? Is it that he doesn't find someone that he would love to spend the rest of his life with? Or is it that some men just make that decision? It doesn't matter if they're with that woman for like 10 or 15 years, but they won't propose, right? And they have no intention to get married, but they never communicate that. And sometimes the woman, they love the man so much that they're willing to stay in that relationship. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, you know, as far as like men just trying to go out and finding other women. So some people complain about he wants someone to be a freak. He wants someone to be in an open relationship. And I'm just wondering, like, what do you think about men that tries to put their partner in that kind of a situation where they have to make a decision to fulfill that man's needs, like,
or desire? Because it's not a need; it's a desire.
Oh yeah, desire. Yes.
Nobody's going to die.
Well, that person
wait, let me ask a quick question, right? Your cousin, you said, that says never get married. Who was that again?
Yeah.
So is he single?
Yeah. Well, he dates here and there, but he's just like, it's just like something he's not going to do.
Maybe he's afraid.
So like the women he's dating, is he all his needs are probably getting fulfilled, right?
I don't know.
right, so
He has
let's just
cook for him, one person that's sleeping with him, one person that's doing his laundry. Like, what are those needs? Like,
so if that's the case, what's the point of what's the incentive to get married if I'm getting all this already?
Wow. Wow.
Why do I gotta get married for? Why do I gotta get in a relationship if I'm already getting what I need?
Wow.
Nothing's gonna change whether I do or not. So
yeah.
At the end of the day, that's on them. If they keep continually giving me what I want, right? Wow. And again, I can have each one fulfill a need, right? Wow. There's really no reason why purchase when I can lease and switch up every 3 years.
Bernadette said, heard a notable public figure say men aren't good at cheating. They're good at picking women who they can cheat.
That's true. That's why we're constantly getting caught. You know, women cheat just as much as men. I just know how to bury it better. We're like, y'all good at keeping it, like, you know, that whole have them introduce each other. They almost damn near brothers, have no clue. They dealing with the same thing.
That's not nice. That's not
men can't do that. You know.
Oh man, this is good. This is good. So let me ask you this: why is it that women can cheat better than men? Are they smarter than men? Like, I'm just trying to figure this out.
Answer. Why is it?
Are we smarter? Like, because
why is it?
Like,
that's
I
a
don't
question
know.
for me. All right, it's my turn to switch it. Why are women better at cheating? I'll start with you, Teresa.
Oh my God! Come on, guys.
I don't
Put it in the chat.
Here's what I would say. I think that I don't think that women's intention. I don't think either party the intention is to hurt the other, but I think that women know that men. It's a harder pill for men to swallow, right? So, you know, they would be more careful. Whereas a man is just like thinking, okay, if I get caught, you know, it'll be okay. Because men, like, some men harm themselves, if you know, or they go crazy, or they violently attack the woman or attack the man. Like the response to the cheating is very different. You know, not to say that, you know, we have extreme examples of both, but men don't take the cheating well. Not that women take it well either, but they take it worse. Excuse my English.
Okay, so you guys are doing us a favor by cheating better.
No.
Cheating better.
We appreciate it.
But I have something to say. So this is the thing. I know. So men are sloppy. They can't lie, right? They're gonna get caught in the lie, right? Whereas women, this is what it is. I got it. Women plan their cheating. Men just do it. So because they just do it, there's no planning. So women plan, and they're like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that like that. Because if I do it like that, I'm going to, because
better planners.
Yes.
Men plan.
And a lot of women and men, whenever the man cheat, some women, they're like, I'm going to get him back. And they cheat. And then it's vice versa. They do it back and forth. And I know some women that have done this. And I'm like, just because he did it doesn't mean that you have to do it. And they feel like I did something because I got him back. And we know how.
Oh,
right. So
sorry, I was just like,
no, but this is the thing. A woman can have a relationship like you spoke about at the job. They could have a relationship for 5 years with this guy at the job, and the husband never knows. And if the husband had a woman at the job, the husband will be coming home late. The woman is gonna come home on time, right? I'm sorry, y'all cheating women. I'm giving y'all secrets.
So you know what? You know, in a court of law, a premeditated offense, you get more time right?
Oh wow.
You get more time for a premeditated offense than you do
Oh
when it's
my
not. Technically, you're saying women premeditate their cheating and they
Yes.
plan this out. So
Yes.
you guys have, so what is it, a 3 to 6 month window? How does it work?
So that's why you say sometimes cheating happens by accident.
Ah.
Full circle, you see where we're at now. Come back full circle. Okay.
Yeah, because the thing is that the man is gonna come home late. The man's gonna, if he have I remember my friend, her husband had a woman's house key in his pocket. He came home, he took the pants off, she saw the keys. He at one point he had her car keys, and someone told her, "Hey, you guys got a new car?" And she was like, "A new car? What are you talking about?" And she's like, "I saw your husband in a white Nissan or something." And she was like, So the key that she found was a Nissan.
Mhm.
And so it's like, so she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna get him back. I'm gonna get him back." So she got him back. She would
Straight for
go
the head.
work. Yep. Came back on time. Go out with her family. She's back on time. And him, when he cheat, he's coming home at 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's a red flag right there. You didn't come home. I was calling you, you didn't pick up, right? A woman's gonna pick up. They're gonna pick up that phone in the bed with
You
another
guys
man.
will keep that
They go-
routine. Yeah, that's true. You gotta keep the routine. We won't, and that's the first.
Coach Sharice said because we consider their feelings. I don't like. I don't like.
I'll tell you,
Oh,
the man's ego is very fragile, like you said. It's really fragile. So you have to, like she said, she considered the guy's feelings, But
Yeah.
either way, it's a tricky situation. But again, like you said, it's you guys are better at keeping that habit, right? It's like long time ago, right?
Way long time ago.
Long time ago.
Before you were even born, long time ago.
It wasn't even me, but it was me, right? Like I had a girlfriend Frank had a girlfriend at the time, right?
He said, Frank.
Frank had a girlfriend at the time, and there was another girl that we all in the same circle that he liked as well. They kind of had mutual attraction. So as soon as she walked in, my posture changed. I was like, move over a little bit. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden it was like, yo, why? And she noticed it, as soon as she came in, all of a sudden you want some space, right? And it was instinctual. Of course, I didn't think to be like, all right, let me just play my cool. You know what I mean? My thing was like, shoot. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like you said, we don't intentionally do it with the sense to get caught and make it noticeable. And it's the habit thing. Once you start switching your habits, it's like red flags. But again, it goes both ways into noticing the alerts, noticing the flags, right? So it's like how the same way, even though you guys are good at routine, there's always something that you can tell, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's a new fragrance or just, you just a little bit too chipper every time you come home from work. No one likes work that much. Nobody, right? There's a reason. There's a reason. So it's like there's hints all around, but I feel if you have to constantly investigate and always be worried about what your partner is doing, it's just way too much work. I had a friend, and he even said one time, we was having chats, and he was like, I can't worry myself with something that hasn't happened or I don't know is happening, right? He's gonna trust her until he has a reason not to. He's not going to put the thought in his head to be like, oh, yeah, she could. Or, if she goes on vacation, she dresses sexy, something might. It's like, why worry yourself or plant a seed that's not even there? You know what I mean? It's like you have to be confident in yourself and know, hey, until I see something else, right, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. We're together, we're for each other, and that's what it is. So why even put that thought that something might happen, something might always happen. So you can't constantly be worried about that.
Right. Yeah, I just, I really feel like people should communicate, and I think people should be adults about being in relationships, because it's either I want to be with you or I don't want to be with you. Because at the end of the day, it's like little kids running around, and I don't want to get caught. It's almost like when you were home with your mom as a young boy or a young girl, and you have a curfew to get home, and you're not at home on time, and your mother's waiting for you outside, or waiting for you looking out the window to see where you're coming from, right? I mean, I've been there, so I know. And so it's like, so when you're in a relationship, you have someone to answer to. When you're in a relationship, it has to be some compromising. And so a lot of women and men, I want to say more women than men, they want to get married, and they just want to get married. Like, I think it's just walking down the aisle. That's what's in people's minds, because if they knew what it took and how much it costs to be in a relationship with marriage, how much you have to be willing to do and change, I think a lot of people would really back out and say, I don't know if I want to do this.
Ready for this.
But people, they look for, I see women, I see preachers telling people, I saw a preacher the other day, you want to get married? I want you to sow a seed of $5,000. I want you to find that money. And why is he able to do that? Because he knows that there's a desperate need for women, some, not all, but for them to get married. And we really have to understand, like, what is marriage? What is it? What is it? It's like you need a job description, right? What's the requirement? Like, what do I need to do? Because people don't understand. If red is your favorite color, blue or pink might be your favorite color, right? Because you got to meet each other in the middle. And so it's a commitment. And a lot of people just, they don't really understand. Sometimes you find one person or another person that's in a rush to get married, and then where the other one wasn't really ready. A lot of men, they'll say, I got married young, I wasn't ready, I thought I was ready, but the woman is more mature. They're willing to become that wife and that mother and have the family. But some men are not ready. They won't say they're not ready. Why is it that a man won't just be real and just let the woman know, look, I'm not prepared for this, right? And instead of just leading them on, what do you think about that? Like, why do men not say or be real and just even tell you, look, I'm not feeling you like that. You're not on my.
But do we listen?
Hey, did you say that? That's a good one.
No, but do we listen? Because I think I'm sure I know you were posing the question to Frank.
No, that's good. That's good.
Men have said, or they say, they tell the women, no, I don't think we're gonna do that, or they say flat out no, and some of them
they still pursue. Yeah, no, it's true. Again, it's like you have to read the signs. Like I've been in situations where I've been straight up, but they would still insinuate or pursue. It's like, trying to save you. Like, you know what I mean? Like right now at this moment, this is not what you want. Trust me.
Yeah.
But it's like you want what you want, right? And sometimes it's like it takes for you to feel this thing to realize that, all right, this is not for me. Some people are just okay with, companionship. It's like, and they'll tell them like, look, I don't want a relationship, but I want a companion. I want someone to be with and chill with. But then you know, that's the set in the beginning, but then feeling change, you know, feelings start to intertwine, you start to feel more and more, and then now it's a different scenario, and now someone switches up. So just like, you know, I know people who got relationships and in the beginning, both parties said that they didn't want children. A year or two down the line, one party's like, I want a child. It's like, we discussed, we didn't want this in the beginning, but now I do. What do you do?
Yeah.
Right? Like, people are constantly changing and evolving. It's like, and that's a tough decision. It's like, we're here, but now you're telling we made a choice in the beginning. Now you're switching it up. People switch up on you all the time, right? So it's like, you just got to notice and see the signs. And again, it's like, you know, some people are just okay with companionship. Like, know that person's language. You know, like, know what they're looking for. Like, if that's okay with you, then, you know, by all means, entertain it. See what happens. You know, it's like we wish for the best, and that's the problem. We go into situations and be like, yeah, I know what the outcome will probably be.
Like, but I like the roll of the dice.
Yeah, it's like, but you never know. I might get lucky. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a probability that it'll turn out different. And what happens when the same thing repeats? It's like, oh shoot, I should have done that. Then the next person come around, we do the same thing. You know, it's like it's like a cycle that can't get broken. And it's like, you know, again, it's like you're constantly have to groom yourself. And again, you just gotta hope when you reach that one that it's not too late. Right on both parties, like, because the guy could get to a level when, you know, he's been bouncing around in multiple relationships, and then meet that woman, and she's not there. You know what I mean? And now he's like,
what happens? That usually happens.
Melody says marriage isn't a merit badge to obtain. Marriage is work, compromise, self-control, etc. So there's a level of sacrifice that has to happen.
Yes.
Definitely.
Wow. Well, I want to shout out everybody who's been commenting. Belinda, Denise, Coach Sharice, I see you. Monica, I want you guys go ahead and send up the hearts because we're getting ready to get to our end, and we want to make sure we answer your questions. We want to make sure that, you know, you guys are sending up those hearts, send up the stars. Let's get 5 people to send some stars. Come on, we gotta get to our hype in here. Send those stars, send them up, send them out. And you know, and I'm going to be announcing tomorrow the star winner. I'm gonna post it on Facebook. I'm gonna be posting it, so I want y'all to look at about 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to announce the star winner from the star competition. So you have a chance to win if you're not the lead. So go ahead and send those stars and send the hearts. Let's everybody send the hearts together. And thank you so much, Belinda. Thank you for being here. I want you guys to share this. If you didn't share this, every Tuesday we are here. We are here until the month of July. And I want to tell you guys, July, we're going to be very busy with the iRise conference. So we won't be able to be on here, you know, so I want to just tell you all, iRise conference on July 22nd, we're celebrating our 8th year anniversary. I'm going to make some announcement, and then we're going to get ready to get your questions. So go ahead and add your questions. I'm going to share with you this Saturday. We have the Sister Circle. Thursday, can you put the link, the link tree? Do you have, if you're able to, please put it. You'll find all the links to register for the Sister Circle. It is a place where we come together and we just, you know, we're open, we talk, we don't have anything exposed on social media. It's a private place where we come together. You are requested to wear a hat, a nice hat, however you want to wear it. Also, we are getting ready to go to Uganda. We're going on a mission trip to Uganda, August of 2023. We are going there to bring revivals, crusades. We're going to feed the homeless. We're going to visit the children in the orphanage. We're going to have luncheons for them. We're also going to have food distribution for the widows. And we're going to have a lot of events, out there for the children. So this is something that we're really looking forward to, August 2023. We also have the Global Leadership Seminar. That is June 3rd. This is where you can expand your ministry. You can learn everything you need to know about growing and having a global ministry. Ordination and licensing will also take place 2024 after completion of all these classes. And so registration is open right now. If you look through the link, you'll find all registration. This is my schedule for the entire rest of the year. It is fully booked. It is really something that we are going to really take on to the next, because we are completely booked for until the end of the year. And we are here tonight with the this podcast, which we are here every Tuesday. I want to shout you all out. Chris, I see Chris in here. Go ahead and send up these stars. I'm looking back up. I'm looking to see. Denise have a question. Thurza, let me see. Is the statement true? Once a cheater, always a cheater. All right, that's for you, Frank. Is that statement true? Once a cheater.
You didn't say Frank. I think it's that to the panel, not me. No, I mean, I don't believe that's true. People change, people evolve. Like the situations that can occur, and you just have to see how are they trying to change, right? If you're in a situation where the other person has cheated, and you guys had a conversation and you decided to continue this, right? You got to see how are they changing. You got to put them to work to see if they for real. It's like, all right, they have to win you back, right? So now if they're not willing to put in the work, I wouldn't even entertain the situation. But it's not once all. Again, there's multiple factors, but I truly don't believe that once a cheater, always a cheater. That was made up by a woman scorned.
I believe. I also believe that it's not true, because I believe that people cheat for different reasons. Sometimes they do it because they want to pay people back. Sometimes they do it for because they're immature. And I know that sometimes people, they grow, they become more mature, and because of that, they won't cheat. Because of that, they won't do certain things. And so I don't think once a cheater, always a cheater is true, because people change, people grow, people get tired of doing the same things, and sometimes they just want a peace of mind. So I don't know, Thursday, what do you think about that?
Well, I put a little note to myself. I just said, I'd rather be left alone than cheated on. Like, I'd rather.
No, but do you believe that once a cheater, always a cheater? That's the question.
No, I don't believe that. Because people mature, people change, people regret some of their past behaviors and so forth. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? Any questions we missed? I have the link tree. I have the link up here. I'm gonna pin it. Everything you need to register for is there. I do see Chris says people change, some learn from their mistakes. Oh, that's a very good one. That is so good. And I think why that is so good is because sometimes when you get caught doing these things, you're gonna stop. You're not gonna do it again, right? I totally agree with that.
Hurting innocent people or good people.
That's true. It's like what do you value at the end of the day? Like that. And then karma's karma's a bee, man. Yeah, it'll come back to get you. So you always got to remember that as well. You wouldn't want that done unto you. So if you have malicious intentions and constantly going to do the same thing, it's not. It never pans out well for both parties.
Right. I agree with that. Any other questions?
Well, Monica has a comment here. She says she met a man a few years ago and asked him, "Are you looking for a serious relationship?" He said, "No." I told him, "I have love for you, but I do not have time to waste on a man that is for everybody. We're still friends today, and we have a mutual respect for each other. I knew my value and could not go beneath my worth." And then she went on to say that she heard him loud and clear, and she was not going to change his mind. So, in this instance, he was honest. And he was honest, and she listened. So that's
right.
Goes to both of them.
Yeah, the key in the slot fit. Again, it's there wasn't a disconnect there. He was direct. She received the message, and then she applied it to herself and made a decision. At the end of the day, we all
look at that.
I like that. I see another anybody else have any other question? Oh wait, we do see Sean Williams. Sean Williams say, "Why do men hide who they really are mentally?" Do you have an answer for that, Frank?
They're gonna be embarrassed.
Well, I got something I want to say. One thing I can say is that vetting, like Frank said, is so important, because the thing is that you can get in a relationship, right? And you really don't know the person. They get comfortable. People get comfortable after a while, and then they start to show you who they really are. People don't really show you who they really are right away. And that is something that we really need to take a look at, because if you pay attention and you do your investigations, because you really need to have an investigation, because you don't know who you with. You could be with a murderer, you could be with a fugitive, you could be with a narcissist, you could be with someone that
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Thursday. Go ahead.
No, but seriously, the way things are, you really don't know what you get. Like, unfortunately,
yeah,
jokingly, but some people have gotten caught out there where,
yeah.
So
you better Google that. You better Google that person, because if you Google them,
listen, go.
Yeah, you gonna find something. And if you can't Google him, you better get a private investigator or something.
When you mentioned the thing about vetting, I think about when I was young, like in my late teens, 20s, and so forth. Mommy, my mom would be like, well, when we were back in the days, we would know the person's family. We would know this about a person, that about a person. And now we don't have that. I think so. You don't have as many references.
Like that sense of community.
Yeah, it's different. Even though you have people that may have known somebody from, whenever, high school, I went to school with them, I went this, but it's very different now. People don't really know each other, and they don't know, know each other's backgrounds like that. So it came to mind. My mom would be like, well, what's the person's family name? Who's this person? They use the family name.
Yeah.
So who they people are, where they from.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's different.
Well, that is true.
We go on Instagram and we go on Facebook and we see what we could find out about the person.
And it'd be a lie.
And that's just their highlight reel. People just post the highlight. They're not going to show you the real.
Yeah. It'd
so
be
it's
a
like
lie.
you can't even go based off of that. Like, that's what they want people to see.
Yeah. And so we really have to be careful, because if we plan on getting with this person and we're looking to have children, and that's another thing. Sometimes we have children with someone and we're like, man, I wish I never had a kid with that person. I wish I never. But if you had done your investigation, I want to shout out Gums is in the house. Gums, I see you.
Luxurious is in the
Go ahead, y'all. Send those hearts, and send those stars. Don't come in here and be lazy. Send those stars. Send those hearts. Make sure. And one thing I realized is that what Thursday was saying, people are not trying to find out. Like, I'd rather meet a guy, and I would rather meet someone and know that somebody else know them, and they could possibly say, oh, I know that person, they're cool, right? But if you don't know that person, if you don't know anybody that know that person, the best thing for you to do is to start asking questions too. Because I know a young lady who was living with a guy, and the guy that she was living with, that guy was wanted. He was wanted. And she didn't know because he had a different name. So the name that he gave her all this time that she was living with the guy, she happened to go in his wallet one day and saw that he had a different name. So these things can happen to anybody, because when you meet someone, sometimes you're in la la land. Sometimes and you haven't had a relationship for so long, and you're like, oh my God, this feel good, right? And then you get into that mode, you get into that moment with that person, and you forget everything. And so I think it's important for us to really find out who we're getting involved with, because I'm sure if we looked at statistics, it's probably a high number where people are saying, I wish I never had a kid. I wish I never met that person, right? I'm sure it's a very high number. And so if we spend more time getting to know each other, like I know couples where they don't even know each other's favorite colors, right? They don't even know the person's favorite song. What they thought was the favorite meal is not the favorite meal. So there's an issue there, right? What do you think about that, Frank? Before we get ready to close, y'all better put your questions.
I mean, what's the reason they're in it for? Are they in it for the right reasons? Like those are basic things you should know. Even as little as knowing like a color may sound, there's a bigger picture behind it, right? So it's like, if you can't discuss the small things and remember that, like how are you supposed to grow and build and discuss, the life-changing things, and then going back to what you said as far as, like the vetting process, right? You don't have to do it alone. Like you have people you confide in, whether it's family members, which is close friends, like bring that person up. So sometimes people find a good thing and want to keep it a secret because, they might get outside noise and they'll receive that as hate, or it's like, I don't want to share this because someone might not understand it and I don't want to have to explain it. So now, they'll keep certain relationships to themselves. And then, again, they're in a relationship with someone that they completely could be someone else and have no clue who it is. So, it's never a process where you have to do it alone. Definitely, people that you confide in, let them know, who you're dating, who you're courting, who you're interested in, so they can provide feedback as well. And if these are people you confide in, you're going to take their advice, right? And they're going to have your best intentions at heart. So they're not going to steer you wrong. So again, it takes just like to raise a child, takes a village and a community. This process nowadays with dating and meeting people, it's almost the same thing. Like you gotta have those referrals.
Right. I like that.
Somebody gotta know him.
I like that. Right? Somebody gotta know him. Somebody. Oh, I like that. So
Joe.
I really like this, and I think we're going to continue this conversation, y'all. We're going to continue it because I think there's more information that we need, and I don't think we have enough time to go over more. And so I want to just tell you guys that I'm excited. I want to thank you, Frank, for being here tonight, and Thursday, my co-host. And I
appreciate the invite. On behalf of all the good men out there that don't cheat.
Yeah, I love it. And I want you guys to really let us finish strong.
Good.
Go ahead and send the hearts, and go ahead and just, congratulate yourself for being here tonight, because it was a great moment, great information. I want to shout out Sean for tagging some people to come on here and listen. And I believe that we are going to be able to help you more in relationships, vetting. You learned something about vetting, and I think that's very important, because there's a lot of things that you apply for, right? And you get vetted for it, right? And another thing, if you go to motor vehicles and you need a license, right? There's certain points that you need. You need to have X amount of points. I don't know if it's still 6 points, but if you don't have 6 points, you're not getting a license. In your relationship, you should always look at relationships like that. What does this person have to offer? Does this person have the qualities that I'm looking for? And those are the things you have to really understand. Who's in his circle, or he or she? It's not just about he. And who can I go to ask some information, right? And that's important. And so I want to just thank all of you. So go ahead and send the hearts and send some stars, and let's close this out strong. And I will be announcing the star winner. Then we're gonna start it over again. So go ahead and send the stars. I don't know where my bell is. I haven't rung my bell tonight. Somebody move my bell. And I want to thank everybody who sent the stars tonight, everybody who participated, everybody who tagged. We're here every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And I want to just tell you, every man do not cheat. Every man, every woman don't cheat.
There's some good brothers out there. So
yeah. So don't think of it as always a cheater. He is always going to be a cheater, or she's going to always be a cheater. People grow, people mature. And I believe that if you've been with someone and there might be room for improvements, right? And maybe somebody made a mistake. I don't know. But I want to just encourage you all to really look into people that you are with. If you've been in a relationship for too long, over 3 years, 5 years, he's not asking you for the next step. He's not saying, look, it's time we're going to get engaged. And he's not saying anything. It's time for you to figure out what's the purpose of you being in this relationship, right? Are you just, how did you say that, Frank? They have what's the term you use?
Placeholders.
Placeholders. You don't want to be a placeholder. And I think if you're in the relationship, you put your time in, I believe that you're valuable enough to be that individual where you're not a placeholder. So let us really be encouraged and believe that we got what it takes to get that ring. He got put a ring on it, right? Put a ring on it. And so I want to just say thank you, all of you, for being here. We are at the end, and we want to say thank you. I don't know if you have any closing remarks, Frank, you'd like to share before we end.
I'll simply say, know yourself, be true to yourself, love yourself. Everything will fall in place. For real.
Amen. I like that. Woo! Thank you. Thursday, anything you want to say?
Listen, one day at a time. That's all. One day at a time. At a time.
Woo! And I want you guys go ahead and share this, and whoever watches the replay, #replay, and make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and continue to join us as we bring you good information. Thank you. I see you, Bernadette. I see you, Denise, and may God bless all of you. God bless you. Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you.